California. It is a nation in itself, somewhere west of the West, walled off by coastal mountains on the Pacific and by the Sierra and Great Deserts to the east. California also is an imagination, a country so vast, so extreme, it is almost more than one person can comprehend. An early explorer once said, the secret to knowing California is distance. You must put just the right amount of distance between you and the landscape to fully grasp its proportion. Perhaps that perfect perspective is from right here, from above. California's north coast. Here, the argument between land and sea never ends, and the fogs can set against the shore with such weight and opacity that all at once the entire world is stolen away, dissolved in the gray, until the sun can find it later that day. "2,000 years old, 300 feet tall, the California redwood seemingly as an immortal sentinel over the north coastal range. These forests have an oppressive effect on the mind," an early explorer noted. A deep silence reigns. Almost the only sound is that of some torrent coming down from the mountains, or the distant roar of surf breaking upon the shore of the Pacific. Massive volcanic eruptions, as recent as a century ago, poured molten rock down the slopes of Lassen Peak and across the surrounding country, where it hardened in smooth swirls. Lassen stands over one of the most surreal landscapes in America, where nature can speak of destruction and creation in one explosive breath, where one beauty can be traded for another in a thunderous instant. The entire northeastern corner of California, the Modoc Plateau, is one of the most serene, wide-open, wild western expanses in all the state. But every inch is a volcanic aftermath, molded in flames, cast in lava and cinders. On an early geological expedition, California surveyor William Brewer first saw Mount Shasta from 150 miles away, with a clarity which could not be witnessed today. As he journeyed closer to the mountain, he wrote, "Its upper 6,000 feet are streaked with glistening snow, its outlines sharply cut against the intensely blue sky, its steep sides beyond anything I have ever seen elsewhere." How long and earnestly we gazed upon the mountain. Nothing else could be talked about. In 1838, North Carolina trapper George Calvert Yount purchased Mission grapevines and planted them in Napa Valley. Within his lifetime, California's wine industry gained its first foothold here. Now, in valley after valley, processions of vines trace the contours of this gently folded and romantic countryside. Day ends in the natural north much as it began. The argument wages on between the land and the sea. Small towns dim as lighthouses mount their watch. Fog draws up tightly against the shoulders of the shore, and the beauty here finally retires, lost in the darkness until the next dawn. At sunrise, for a precious moment, San Francisco becomes El Dorado, the mythical kingdom of gold Spanish explorers forever sought. It has been said that all the great cities of history have been built on bodies of water. Rome on the Tiber, Paris on the Seine, London on the Thames. If this is a criterion for greatness, wrote Californian Harold Gilliam, then San Francisco must surely rank first with its bay. Since California's gold rush days, the city and its setting have cast a spell over all who venture here. You know what it is? John Steinbeck once said. San Francisco is a golden handcuff with the key thrown away. It is hard to believe that any body of water so vast eluded early coastal explorers for well over a century. But the seas and fog of the Golden Gate obscured any semblance of a port. It wasn't until 1769 that Spaniard Gaspar de Portola came upon an opening along the coastline and sailed into San Francisco Bay. So astonished by its proportion, he wrote in his log, "All of Europe's navies could take shelter here." Indeed, today, every imaginable craft plies these waters.
Ladies and gentlemen, on your feet, here comes the University of California Golden Bear. Cardinal ball first and 10 on their own 34-yard line. Stack handoff to Miller going around the right side. He's up to the 34.
San Francisco and its bay. Perhaps no other American city inspires such a genuine sense of romance and endearment. No city invites the heart to come to life as San Francisco does, wrote William Saroyan. Arrival in San Francisco is an experience in living. Or as Rudyard Kipling put it, San Francisco has only one drawback. 'tis hard to leave. Lake Tahoe. Mark Twain said that 3 months of camp life here would restore an Egyptian mummy to his pristine vigor and give him an appetite like an alligator. The air up here in the clouds is very pure and fine, delicious and bracing, he went on to say. And why shouldn't it be? It is the same that the angels breathe. Over the many years naturalist John Muir spent in Yosemite, it is clear that when he was in these mountains, the mountains were within him. The valley comprehensively seen looks like an immense hall or temple lighted from above, he wrote in his journal. But no temple made with hands can compare with Yosemite. Every rock in its walls seems to glow with life. Some lean back in majestic repose. Others, absolutely sheer, or nearly so for thousands of feet, advance beyond their companions in thoughtful attitudes. At the foot of the Great Wall that is the Sierra Nevada lies Mono Lake. It is one of the oldest lakes on the planet, an isolated and eerie creation that looks somehow unfinished, a salty, silent, sailless sea. Sierra is Spanish for saw, an apt description for the razor-sharp ridges that slice into the blue California sky. From a distance, they appear as a uniform wall fashioned from pearly ice and snow. It is only when you are upon them do you realize that they are a stormy sea of granite, whipped by nature into one cresting wave after another, a progression that is both terrifying and beautiful. California's Central Valley. Entire states could be swallowed up in its expanse, which stretches out like a lake of pure sunshine. To the untrained eye, the landscape never varies, wrote California author Joan Didion. The valley eye can discern the point where the miles of cotton seedlings fade into the miles of tomato seedlings, or where the corporate ranches give way to the family farms. But in the long view, such distinctions are irrelevant. The whole together simply is the richest agricultural region in the world. Sacramento is the seat of the California state government, an honor that passed from Los Angeles to Monterey, San Jose, Benicia, and Vallejo before becoming permanently fixed here in 1854. At that time, the height of the gold rush, it seemed all roads blazed to Sacramento, the chief supply town. Sacramento remained the Central Valley's most central city, but now its roads, railroads, rivers, even runways transport an agricultural trade far richer than all the gold that once lay here. An Eastern newspaper once described Greater Los Angeles as 6 suburbs in search of a city. Today, that could be 60 suburbs, with no offense taken. The truth is, LA is a place that constantly is reinventing itself. A place whose strength is its diversity, whose charm is change.
Well, good morning, LA. I'm just over the downtown area, and there's no unusual backups to report. So why don't I just tell you about the usual backups? So I tell you, it's one of those days. It's great to be flying and not driving. However, northbound things look pretty good. But if you're heading southbound, may I suggest valet parking? I'd have to say things are pretty much cleared out, Jim. From up here, it's going to be a great day in L.A.
Los Angeles area. What was once a lazy expanse of citrus and sun has given way to avenues and boulevards and blocks after blocks with rivers of freeways flowing at flood stage. It is immediately apparent that no city has ever been produced by such an extraordinary mixture of geography, climate, economics, demography, mechanics, and culture, observed architectural writer Rayner Banham. Nor is it likely that even a remotely similar mixture will ever occur again. At sunset, bathed in tropical afterglow, Greater Los Angeles becomes one swirling, sparkling galaxy. As Paris is to France, this surely must be America's City of Light. "60 miles from the Sierra's loftiest peaks, past small desert towns and the last vestiges of cultivated earth, the landscape plummets below sea level to California's Death Valley. Early Shoshone Indians called the valley Tomesha, ground on fire. For many pioneers, their quest for the California dream ended right here, evaporated in temperatures over 130 degrees. Frank Norris wrote in his historical novel McTeague, "Everything as far as the eye could reach lay inert, absolutely quiet and moveless under the remorseless scourge of the noon sun." The very shadows shrank away, hiding under sagebrushes, retreating to the farthest nooks and crevices in the canyons of the hills. All the world was one gigantic, blinding glare, silent, motionless. The shattered water made a misty din. Great waves looked over others coming in, and thought of doing something to the shore that water never did to land before. A poem penned by Robert Frost while here on the California coast. This is classic California. Mediterranean sun-drenched seas, mountains pressed to the ocean shore, and a narrow ribbon called Highway 1, the most singular scenic route in all America. While living along this coast in a rustic Big Sur artist colony, author Henry Miller mused about what life would be like here in the coming years. I picture villas dotting the slopes and colossal stairways curving down to the sea. I see tables spread under brilliant awnings and wine flowing into golden goblets. And over the glitter of purple and gold, I hear laughter like purling rapids rising from 1,000 jubilant throats. If there ever was an example of a man-made oasis, it is Palm Springs. From the air, it appears as brilliant green brushstrokes on the burlap canvas of the Southern California desert. A trove of water trapped under the surface here keeps golf courses lush, aquamarine pools filled, even lagoons teeming, all as if a mirage in the intense desert heat. On the morning of September 28, 1542, Juan Rodriguez Cabrillo sailed into this bay, stepped ashore to claim the land officially for Spain, and became the first European to discover what is now California. Today, the great city of San Diego now stands where Cabrillo did. And each day, the mightiest Navy ships in the world retrace Cabrillo's route into the oldest port in the West. When asked how long it would take to survey California, early explorer J.D. Whitney wryly responded, about 450 years, or thereabouts. California. There is no other state with so many horizons to discover, with so many climates to experience, with so many people to embrace, who are as rich and varied as the landscape itself. It seems that a little piece of every state in this country could fit into California just fine. And maybe they already have. Because there is something about this state that resonates within every one of us. One Californian simply put it this way: California is America, even more so.